So, on January 28th, 2026, I was covering another news story, as always, that somehow tied back ICE's military occupation on American cities, specifically in Minneapolis, to Israel's military occupation of the West Bank and in Gaza. And this is something that I've talked about quite frequently, a concept known as imperial boomerang. The violence that we dish out over there ends up coming back to the home front, to the home territory, to the domestic front, and is used on American citizens. And in the process of this coverage, and I'm going to play you a video of the 2 minute and 30 second incident. In the process of this coverage, I used certain terms that Twitch had made a violation of the terms of service a year prior. Let's take a look at the video.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
What's more likely is that they filmed his fucking face and they put him on a watch list. As Ken Klippenstein reports in his exclusive, Sparta, Reaper, and Grapevine track protesters and their friends, plus others, ICE's secret watch list of Americans. We have a nice little database, and now you're considered a domestic terrorist. A masked federal agent taunted a protester filming him in Maine last week. How do I open up super chats? How do I do any of that stuff? I don't know. In any case, let's get back to it. As I was saying, I'll just talk about this stuff and then I'll talk about my band and then I'll get to all this other stuff in a second, because there's probably a lot of people that are in here just now. There's a lot of people that are in here currently that want to hear about what took place and why I'm live streaming here instead of live streaming on Twitch as I normally would. As I was saying, on January 28th, I was covering an article from my friend, investigative reporter Ken Klippenstein, about ICE making a list of anyone who films them. This was about Alex Peretti. I was talking about Alex Peretti's assassination. Prior to this commentary, I had talked about how Israel and ICE's tactics are very similar to one another. This had offended the sensibilities of a lot of people who are pro-Israel, people who are anti-ICE, but were very pro-Israel. A lot of liberals who are anti-ICE but pro-Israel got very mad at me on Twitter, as many of you know. This article also showed something very important, though, that the relationship between ICE and Israel was far more consequential than even the way that I had presented it. Let's take a look. Remember this video? We've covered videos like this on numerous occasions on this broadcast, where ICE agents will walk up to counter-protesters, will walk up to protesters and film them in their faces and go, "Smile, you're on fucking camera, you're on a watch list now." Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin's response was firm. There is no database of domestic terrorists run by ICE. There's just one problem. She's lying. Two senior national security officials tell me that there are more than a dozen secret and obscure watch lists that Homeland Security and the FBI are using to track protesters, both anti-ICE and pro-Palestinian. This is another big suck my dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there, you fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. You fucking run around going, "Oh my God, Israel first, Israel first. Why are you tying this back to Palestine?" Because this is precisely the fucking same shit. Okay? That's it. That is the reason why I got banned. That is the reason why I ate a fat 7-day ban on Twitch. Okay? You might not have even picked up on what the reason was, but that was it. How crazy. This line right here. Rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. Now, one might ask the question, why rabid ultra-Zionist pigs is even a banned term? Unfortunately for all of us, the ADL last year was looking for any and every opportunity to apply pressure for the last 2 years, as a matter of fact, post-October 7. The ADL was trying to apply as much pressure as possible on Twitch because I was the Apartheid Defense League's #1 op. They cynically smeared me as an anti-Semite over and over again, even though I'm basically the strongest last remaining soldier combating anti-Semitism on the internet, pretty much, especially at my size. they kept cynically smearing me as an anti-Semite. It didn't work. Obviously, the adults that, work in media were like, this is ridiculous. We've seen Hasan's work in this field. We know he's not an anti-Semite. It doesn't work with Democratic Party politicians in general, especially ones that aren't, directly in the pocket of Israel, unlike Richie Torres, who also participated in this ADL-backed smear campaign. But in the process of trying to make things as difficult as possible, when you are engaging in commentary about Israel's violent desires and Israel's genocide, ADL was able to successfully enforce a new terms of service violation. This happened last year. The Apartheid Defense League got Twitch to make Zionist a protected identity. This is precisely the reason why on this platform, on Twitch, you can say someone is a Nazi pig. On the platform, you can say someone is a Democrat pig. Someone is a Republican pig. You can say someone is an Islamist pig. But you cannot say Zionist pig on Twitch. As a matter of fact, I've said all of those things on the platform. I use terminology such as that with regular frequency because I don't use slurs. I try to avoid hate speech, and that's precisely the reason why, with regular frequency, I will call someone an animal, a donkey, a dog, a pig, things of that nature. But of course, the ADL offered this new form of suppression, and Twitch played ball. And the reason why they played ball is because the ADL still has a lot of institutional motion. I will, however, say this is in spite of the endless amounts of enmity that Twitch has received. So, all things considered, I think most other corporations would have probably dropped me a long time ago, especially with advertiser pressure, especially with the insane amount of stalkers that have been doing a one-man Gamergate, working in tandem with the ADL, working in tandem with like pro-Israel politicians in general. I think most companies would have dropped my ass a long time ago. So I will still say that in spite of this infraction, Twitch, I think, when it matters the most, has at least allowed me to continue streaming. Okay? And that's what I care about. That's what I care about the most, to be able to continue my commentary. Okay? A lot of my naysayers, a lot of my haters that have tried to make my life a living hell, make the lives of so many other content creators on the platform who are pro-Palestinian, their lives a living hell, routinely suppressing their speech, routinely deplatforming them to limited success, taking away their revenue streams in general. They do this because they can get away with it. And that is part of the reason why there are a lot of people who are shy about speaking out against Israel, even though many people at this point agree that Israel is a violent entity that is committing a genocide. And not only is it a violent entity built around a violent ideology known as Zionism, which is a Jewish ethno-religious supremacist ideology that is exterminationist in principle and is routinely exterminating and engaging in ethnic cleansing in both the West Bank, which is an apartheid occupation, and in Gaza, where there is a genocide. Okay? This is no longer a controversial matter. And I've been saying this far before most people actually came on board with this concept. Most people understood this concept. So, of course, I'm not going to stop saying that. I'm not deterred at all. These kinds of setbacks don't actually stop me from speaking on these issues. As long as I have an opportunity to speak in front of people, as long as I can still continue speaking truth to power, offering a voice to the voiceless, I am going to be able to do that. I'm going to continue doing that no matter what these groups do. Okay? That's it. It's that simple. And you should do the same. You should remember that we have the numbers. I know that it feels scary at times when you see people like myself get humiliated, tarred and feathered by sometimes straight up pedophiles, in many circumstances, straight up people with like, you know, sex assault charges, things like that. People who are really gross individuals. And you see that, and you see the stalking, and you see the harassment, and it deters you. It stops you from speaking out. But the reason why they do all of that, not just to people like myself, but to people like yourself as well, kind-hearted, empathetic individuals who care about others, the reason why they want to make you feel like a stranger in your own community, to make you feel as though there aren't other people who have that exact same opinion, is because they're terrified of the numbers that you and I represent. There are more of us than there are of them. So when stuff like this happens, you just got to fucking eat it. It's just a minor setback. You just got to continue. It'll blow over. You're just going to keep doing what you must do. Do not be deterred. Do not be fearful. Do not be afraid of speaking truth to power, no matter what. Okay? That's it. And I'm going to continue doing that till the day I die. Now, that's one aspect of the Twitch ban. To me, we will look back at this in a couple months and treat it in the same way that we did the cracker ban. Manufactured hysteria, manufactured outrage, if you recall, caused Twitch to offer me a 7-day ban for anti-white racism because I called someone a cracker-ass bitch. Years later, at an official Twitch-sponsored event at TwitchCon, I was making fun of that cracker ban alongside, the Twitch CEO. This will be seen in the same way. And what's so insincere about this is that regardless of all the naysayers who are doing victory laps currently, everyone knows it's bullshit. The ADL knows it's bullshit. Twitch knows it's bullshit. You and I know it's bullshit. If I'm going to be as charitable as I possibly can, I would go so far as to say the only people that don't think this is bullshit, that like, oh, Hasan, finally, he got banned. He got a 7-day ban. He got a 7-day ban. Oh, it's here. The only people that are entertaining the seriousness of this ban are those who are fucking hysterical. They're insane people. And I'm sick and tired. I am sick and tired of having to deal with other people's madness, with other people's insanity. Why do we as a society have to be constantly at the mercy of some of the most psychotic, mouth-breathing, zero IQ fucking losers? Why? I say no more. I say no more. So, sure, I got banned for 7 days. I appealed it. There's an appeals process. There's a new appeals process. They reduced it. Okay? I'll be back on Twitch eventually. I'm already, not even your biggest haters are saying that they want you banned, but this is a really fucking stupid reason to. Well, maybe I've only seen people like Los Pollos. This asshole, who I gave a W to just yesterday because apparently he was, apparently he was actually fundraising for communities impacted by ICE. I want you to understand something, though. I want you to understand something. The clip I'm about to show you is another peer of mine. This is another content creator in this space. Think about how fucking racist this shit is. This was his reaction to me getting banned last night.
What's good, chat? What's good, chat? You know what the funniest part is, bro? You know what the funniest part is? All someone said to me, literally, I got a DM. The terrorist is banned. So immediately I knew what they were talking about. Which is the sad part, is that...
This is the sad part.
That's what people call him, but... yeah. I don't know. But I mean, he'll be unbanned. He'll be unbanned. Within, I mean, who knows? What's...
Like... There should be an environment of shame. There should be at least a little bit of social stigma calling a Muslim pro-Palestinian Twitch streamer a terrorist like this just rolls off the tongue. This is exactly what I've had to deal with for the past 2 fucking years. Now, many of these guys have the audacity to still turn around and say, oh, I love free Palestine, bro. I don't fuck with that kind of stuff at all. Right? I'll show you another version of this in a second. Okay? But these guys for the last 2, almost 3 years now, endlessly has fucking smeared every single pro-Palestinian content creator, many of which are Muslim or Arab, as terrorists over and over again. Okay? Over and over again with no checks whatsoever. I want to show you this inconsistency because, like, people will try to say I'm a bad person. People will try to say I have crazy ideas. You know, I say wild things. But a lot of people don't see the other side of this at all. A lot of people don't understand that if you are in any way, shape, or form pro-Palestine, especially if you're Arab, I'm not Arab, I'm Turkish, or Muslim, you are constantly eating this shit, and you're expected to eat this shit on a daily basis. Have some fucking shame, man. It rolls off your tongue so easy. Same with Ethan Klein. Same with even Asmongold. And there is no one around them that goes, hey, bro, don't do that. That's kind of fucked up, don't you think? And there is no institutional control around this either. So on the one hand, anti-Semitism, which is a real bigotry, is not only treated with baby gloves, but beyond the baby gloves, it's cynically deployed against people such as myself, even though I'm someone who has combated anti-Semitism and will continue to do so. But it will be cynically deployed against people who have the audacity to speak out against Israel. But then there is no such institutional control or institutional stigma applied to Islamophobia. It's ridiculous, man. It is so fucking ridiculous. It's so frustrating that people are constantly expected to just eat it. Okay? You just have to eat it. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to sit there and you just have to watch all of these other people who are your peers who will probably be welcomed back to the spaces that you go to after calling you a fucking terrorist over and over again. It's insane to me. Now, I don't want fucking, revenge or anything off Los Pollos. I think he's a dumbass. And I think he's pretty funny. Okay? I think he's a very funny guy. I think he's a little misguided. Okay? Let's just put it that way. Maybe you don't feel that way, but I feel that way. There are far more cynical, far more sinister people in this space that we're in that work tirelessly to make this a more toxic space for others. Myself included, but certainly for a lot of people who have similar opinions to people like me that want to make this a better place for those who often get left behind in these conversations. Okay? I'm sick and tired of having to eat it, though. I can't be solo tanking this shit all the goddamn time. You know? So if you're in the audiences of all of these people, like, you can check them. You can check them. You can be like, hey, man, I don't think that's appropriate to say. Okay? We got to get a little bit better. We got to get a little bit better with the way that we treat other people. Okay? Now, this is one aspect of, my ban. My ban is utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. It's going to be all right. And, we will recover. It's not that big of a deal. I can tank this kind of shit. But there is an inconsistency that I must mention here. Because you saw the silly ass reason why I got banned on Twitch. Okay? Twitch has banned myself for my comments on ICE tracking Alex Peretti. Hassan Piker has been banned for 7 days using the phrase rabid ultra-Zionist pigs directed at people defending the use of watch lists to track anti-Israel protesters in the U.S. The same lists are now being used to track anti-ICE protesters like Alex Peretti as revealed in Ken Klippenstein's reporting yesterday. Twitch's hateful conduct policy states the term Zionist may not be used to attack individuals on the basis of their background or their religious belief. It also states using the term to refer to a political movement, whether in a supportive or critical way, does not violate our hateful conduct policy. Now, of course, even though it technically doesn't violate the hateful conduct policy because it's a criticism of an ideology, an ideological movement, because Zionism is a protected group, if you say Zionist, insert whatever, animal, it's still considered a violation of the terms of service. I went through the appeals process as well. I'll be back on Monday. Having said that, there is an inconsistency that I must address. And the inconsistency is that Twitch responds to public pressure. And there is an unlimited amount of public pressure when it comes to trying to take out and deplatform the largest left-wing, progressive, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist content creator in North America. That's part of the reason why I have to fucking eat this dick all the time. Whereas no similar pressure or stigma is ever enough to offer a similar consistent standard to the likes of Asmongold. Many of you probably know who Asmongold is. He pops off on this platform quite a bit, a lot more than he does on Twitch. Over the past 2 months, Asmongold has openly advocated for Somali Americans to be pogromed, stripped of their assets and citizenship, and deported. He has fantasized about taking over the government in order to have his trans critics murdered by the state. He has called Muslim members of Congress parasites, and at no point did Twitch take disciplinary action. And if you want to know,
American, what country do you want to deport them to?
You just said it. Somalia. I want to denaturalize them. I want to seize all of their assets, and I want to send them back to Somalia on a one-way flight.
these are Somali American citizens, infinitely more important members of American society than Asmongold is. They're productive, they're business owners, they work at businesses, they drive Uber, they have lives, they have children here. 95% of them are U.S. citizens, and this is what Asmongold is saying. And this is what Twitch is allowing. And I repeatedly said this over and over again when I saw this kind of sentiment coming from Asmongold, who also happens to be one of the largest political content creators in North America as well, on the right-wing side. Twitch is very afraid of the backlash that they will receive from the likes of J.D. Vance and the entire institutional Republican Party. When I get banned, you're not going to hear AOC come out and be like, "What? How dare you ban Hassan Piker?" You're not going to hear Chuck Schumer certainly say, "How dare you ban Hassan Piker?" But when Asmongold gets banned, J.D. Vance will come out and defend him, because the right will always offer people, no matter how radical they are, institutional support. That's precisely the reason why you see J.D. Vance talk about Nick Fuentes, who is an open neo-Nazi. Talk about the importance of keeping people like Nick Fuentes in the movement. It's that simple. There is no institutional support for those on the left. So we must create our own defenses. Okay? It's that simple. It's that simple. If nobody's got us, we got us.
That's what I want. It's that simple. I don't want these people coming to our country and scamming us, and then for us to pay money to keep them in jail. That's what I want. What would you have the police do instead? If you were them, what would be your course of action? Genuinely curious.
This is where Asmongold was upset that the police were protecting the Somali population, Somali American population in Minneapolis, and he urged people to go out and do violence and terrorism to the police.
I would create a situation where the police would be afraid to defend these places because they would be worried about being persecuted. This would cause the police to leave and completely disband the police force. This would allow the companies and the people in the area to be effectively completely lawless and turn it into anarchy. That would make it completely chaotic, and these people would then become terrorized by the people that are in this community that they are somehow trying to enable, right? And so the goal is for that to happen and to make it as unpleasant and awful for them as possible, so that way they realize the mistake that they've made.
This is an incitement to violence, not against like just random Somali people either, which already is inappropriate, but this is an incitement to violence against police officers. It's a call to action.
It's the goal.
Largest right-wing content creator in North America right now.
Is over. They'll have to add laws and regulations to free speech in order to not protect hate speech. Being allowed to maliciously spread misinformation without consequences, and thus normalizing fascist propaganda, is bad for a country. Actually, I've got really bad news for you. Is that what do you think happens whenever people like me or people that are more extreme than me inevitably get control of the government? What do you think happens to all the people that were tweeting nonstop about trans kids? What happens to them? And now you can see why these people are so extreme. It's because I think on some very, very base level, they know their days are numbered. There is not any degree of activism, virtue signaling, crying, like victimhood that's going to save you. It's going to happen. And it's your fault. It's all your fault. US is over. They'll have to add laws and regulations.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic.
Whoever runs a campaign on taking parasites like this and kicking them out of our fucking country, I will vote for them. I am so sick of these clowns that come here from foreign fucking countries, advocate for their own foreign fucking problems here, and then they call us racist when we say, what about America? This is outrageous. This is an insult.
Just want to remind people that Ilhan Omar was recently attacked by someone who shares a very similar sentiment to Asmongold. That person is now in prison. 10 DUI champion. 2-time divorce champion. Separated forcibly from his children, went and attacked Ilhan Omar because he shares the same opinion that Asmongold has. Not saying Asmongold was responsible for that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not directly tying it back to Asmongold, but I'm saying that this kind of rhetoric is directional. Not only is it inappropriate and untrue, Ilhan Omar is a queen. Okay? She is brilliant. She's courageous. She's resilient. I love her. And it's totally unwarranted. But this kind of rhetoric also invites this kind of action. The kind of action that Ilhan Omar experienced, unfortunately. The kind of reaction that Ilhan Omar received, unfortunately.
There's no such... Islamophobia is a made-up word that's invented to stop criticism of Islam. Phobia. Islamophobia. Get the fuck out of here.
We know that he called African nations a shithole.
Because they are. They are shitholes. What are you talking about? You can see piles of bodies in satellites in the Sudan. That's a shithole. It is. It's a shithole. Like, what are we talking about? Are we going to pretend like it's not?
Nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And
he said that he stopped Muslim immigration from 7 countries at the beginning of his first presidency that got denied, by the way. And there are more than 7 Muslim countries in the world. There's like 50 something. What are you even talking about?
So it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim.
Of course, right? It's not because of the fraud. It's not because of the welfare.
Anyway, you get the point. You get the point, right? It doesn't end there, though. It does not end there. So, I still haven't blasted off, by the way, and I'm not even so certain as to why I should blast off at this point. But the reason why I'm drawing this comparison is because, not to like even demand Asmongold get banned. I've never actually demanded Asmongold get banned, in spite of the fact that he has actively tried to get me banned, and in some instances actually successfully got me banned off of Twitch. Because unlike Asmongold, I do believe in free speech, and although there are limits to it, and I think that if there are these sorts of limits, he's violating them all the goddamn time. But it doesn't just end there either. Let's take a look.
Maybe
Asmongold advocated for ICE to run over and shoot civilians in the face immediately after the murder of Renee Good.
Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go, like, after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more. That's the only solution. That you're never going to win these people over. You're never going to explain it to them. You're never going to be like, oh, well, why won't you see my point of view? Because they don't want to. Why not just shoot the tires? So that way you make the car unsafe and some other innocent bystander can get hurt indiscriminately because the person didn't follow the law? Nah, bro, you shoot them right in the fucking face. They said to stop the car. They said not to do this. They said to get out. And she's walking around, driving around. What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You shoot him right in the fucking head. Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not.
Just 2 weeks prior, Asmongold called all African nations shitholes and called Congresswoman Ilhan Omar a parasite while bringing up her Muslim background. He received no ban for this racist rant. Thankfully, he didn't use the word Zionist pig, though. This inconsistency is one that goes far beyond Asmongold. This is not just about Asmongold, okay? I need you to understand, this is the same inconsistency that exists for all right-wingers, all the way from moderate right-wingers, if such a thing even exists, all the way to neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes. What do I mean by this? They can say whatever heinous thing they want to say, and because they're on the right, most people on their side will never turn around and go, hey, man, maybe you're going a bridge. Maybe that's a bridge too far. Maybe you're going a little too far. Maybe dial it back a little bit. However, God forbid anyone that says, hey, I think better things are possible, ever says anything that could be seen as too angry. God forbid. Then you'll have no institutional support on the liberal side. No one is going to come to my defense. No one is going to fucking be like, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. Okay? And the entirety of the right will cynically come after you as though they don't get away with this shit on a daily fucking basis. Okay? But like I said, all things considered, I do suspect that because of all of the incredible amounts of pressure, other corporate companies, other corporations probably would have banned me a long time ago, as opposed to Twitch just allowing me to continue. My point is, this inconsistency exists all the time. That's precisely the reason why the Trump administration can get away with screaming bloody murder on a daily basis. The president himself can incite violence, can foment hatred towards ethnic minorities that are American citizens on U.S. soil. And then the entire right will turn around in the aftermath of another shooting and say, wow, the left sure is violent, huh? The left sure needs to turn down the temperature. Bitch, the left? The fuck do you mean the left needs to turn down the temperature? Your president is regularly demanding violent backlash towards ethnic identities on U.S. soil that are American citizens. And you're talking about the left? The podcasters on the left? Are you out of your mind? I'm sick and tired of this inconsistency. I'm sick and tired of this double standard. Okay? This double standard only serves to normalize right-wing rhetoric, no matter how violent it is, and it only serves to punish leftists. We got to get a little bit better about dealing with this stuff. Okay? That's it. That's it. We got to get a little bit better. I'm sick and tired of it. So if you have an opinion, you shouldn't shy away from saying it. Okay? Because just as is the case with defending your communities from ICE when Democrats are dropping the ball, when we can't expect them to defend us, so we have to go out there and defend ourselves. The same goes for organizing on the internet. I know oftentimes I say it's silly, it's irrelevant, it's inconsequential and whatnot, but like, considering how much time we spend on the internet, considering how many people spend more time online than they do in the real world, this is an area where we need to organize as well, that we need to also engage in some militant organizing as well. Now, that's all I got on the issue. Like I said, I'll be back on Twitch. But in the meantime, I will, hold on one second. In the meantime, I will make sure that I'm setting up a contingency plan. Today, I'm going to cover the news as I normally would. I'm going to cover the news as I normally would right now. And then afterwards, after I cover the news as I normally do, I will go on and I will go to the ICE Out of LA protests that's taking place at downtown LA. I'll meet up with some friends there as well. This is funny. I just saw this. Hold on. After Hasanabi surpasses 150K live viewers on YouTube, British box loner reacts with a public meltdown and includes an endorsement of self-harm rhetoric. Now, I won't show you the self-harm rhetoric because I don't want to get banned, because I want to also, be a wonderful content creator on this platform as well. But it is strange to me how a lot of these fucking dildos run their mouths like this so easily. Interesting. Speaking of which, by the way, there is more that I wanted to cover as far as, people's content and people's criticisms and things of that nature. Nick Fuentes is another person that I was duking it out with. Okay, Nick Fuentes is a famous neo-Nazi. For those of you who don't know, maybe you're living under a rock, or maybe you are a happy adult and you were unaware of him, but he is a proud, open, avowed neo-Nazi. Now, I got banned for saying ultra-Zionist pigs. Okay, that's the reason why I got banned. And for some weird reason, all of these people who are supposed to be anti-Israel, even though they're not necessarily anti-Israel, but simply just anti-Jewish, were very frustrated with the ban at first, but then very quickly realized that this is a good thing. Let's take a look. One of those guys was Nicolas Fuentes. For those of you who don't know, like I said, he is an avowed, loud and proud, open white nationalist, white supremacist, despite the fact that he himself is a gay man, or at the very least bi-curious. And not only is he a gay man, he also happens to be Mexican as well, even though he is personally, anti-Mexican. Self-hating neo-Nazi. Many such cases in the United States of America, especially as of late, unfortunately, because, American fascism has become DEI, as I've talked about quite a bit, whether it be the ICE Gestapo agents that are majority black and brown, or whether it be the top content creators in the white nationalist sphere of influence. So I said Israel's censorship regime. DHS has lists of American domestic terrorists that they surveil on the basis of their anti-Israel and anti-ICE activism. If you cover it, you'll get banned over frivolous rules that the ADL will establish ahead of time. Surely this will make people love Israel. To which he responded with, it's Jewish censorship, not just Israel, but you'll never go there. To which I responded with, I won't go there because I'm not a fucking moron, and it's not about Judaism, no matter how hard you, Jonathan Greenblatt, and Mark Levin all claim it's tied. Another person that ties Israel, Zionism, and Judaism falsely is the likes of Ethan fucking Klein, who is part of the reason why I'm on this platform right now today, the platform that he also live streams on to, I assume, a much smaller audience now, because he just simply could not stop trying to make every day of his broadcasting a hellish nightmare for his fan base, because he couldn't stop defending the apartheid state of Israel over and over again as it conducted a genocide. So, having said that, no matter how much these fucking dildos and these clowns try to tie Judaism to the state of Israel and its violent actions, I will not do that, because that is not the truth, right? So I said that, And then I said, get your booger-eating, bi-curious Mexican Nazi ass out of here and go sell some more Epstein hoodies, little man. Another thing that he gets very frustrated by, for the record, is the fact that he is a manlet. To which he reply with, yeah, bro, the Jewish state of Israel, the ADL, Project of B'nai B'rith, and their Jewish billionaire benefactors have nothing to do with Jewishness, lemefayao. You say they're supporting ISIS Zionists, but mass migration is the most Jewish policy of all time, and you are a collaborator. This, of course, is Nick Fuentes, who has been defending ISIS actions, regardless of the fact that, as I was, covering in this news article that I was reading at the time, ISIS quite literally surveilling anti-Israel protesters as domestic terrorists, and yet Nicholas Fuentes keeps dick-eating this goddamn administration, no matter how hard they go for Israel, and dick-eating directly ICE, no matter how hard ICE goes for Israel, including but not limited to trying to deport green card holders and many others that have hurt the feelings of the beautiful nation state of Israel, the most moral nation on the planet, right? So I said, you think Jews are monolithic because you are simple-minded. You believe in tribalism. I recognize class. You foment enmity against entire subgroups and divide the working class because you're a slave to Trump and billionaires that defend Israel because of their investments. To which he replied with, and he immediately went to the personal. He immediately went to the personal because he had no other fucking, adequate counter arguments that he could deploy here, and went, you're not working class, you're a millionaire live streamer getting paid by Amazon, which I never said. I never said I'm not, I never said I'm working class in this situation. And I didn't even say that he voted for Donald Trump, even though this person quite literally went to January 6th and was prosecuted by the government briefly for literally participating in January 6th. Now he's fucking turning around and has the audacity to tell me he's not pro-Trump. Phony as fuck, okay? Fake as fuck. Fake as fuck. Self-invested. No fucking real interest in any sort of genuine movement whatsoever. But that's probably a good thing because his genuine movement would obviously be white supremacy, even though he himself is Mexican, as I said. So he wouldn't even be a part of the fucking team that he is trying to design, a part of the future that he's trying to design. And don't defend Israel because of their investments. They're captured by the Israel lobby, which is motivated by messianic fanatical race loyalty. Once again, because Nick Fuentes himself has this messianic fanatical race loyalty to a race that he does not fully belong to, he just assumes everyone has the same opinions as well. Are there Israeli fascists and are there fascists in the Zionist movement? Of course, Zionism is a fascist ideology. Of course, there is fanatical loyalty of that sort. That's actually what I despise. That's why I'm anti-fascist, right? That's the same reason why I despise Nick Fuentes and hate Nick Fuentes is the same reason why I despise and hate ultra-Zionists that I sometimes call pigs on Twitch that end up causing me to get banned, right? That's the same thing. It's the same reason because I'm consistently and principally anti-fascist. In any case, he didn't stop there. He said a bunch of other stuff as well. There was a video that I wanted to show you. I don't know where it is, but I did respond with, I'd rather be a class traitor than a gay Mexican manlet neo-Nazi. I suspect he did not like that, which is part of the reason why, and I will show you this now, he went on a tangent. He went on a fucking rant, literally defending Benjamin Netanyahu. This guy can't even be consistently anti-Semitic. I guess that's not a bad thing. I guess that's not such a bad thing. It turns out for prominent anti-Semite, avowed white supremacist, prominent anti-Semite, Nicholas Fuentes, there's one group of people that he hates more than Jews. Let's take a look at who that group is.
Hasan Piker just got banned on Twitch, which W's in the chat. Hasan Piker just got banned on Twitch for calling supporters of ICE Zionist pigs. He says, if you support ICE, you're a Zionist pig. Really? Once again, it's like, what is the value of someone like that? Hasan Piker is human garbage. I didn't know they stack shit that high. Hasan Piker.
Oh, height reference too? Why are you bringing up height, baby? That's just odd. It's just odd to bring up height like that. I didn't know they stack shit that high.
Piker is human trash who should be deported back to Turkey. Honestly, we should just put him in the ocean like Osama bin Laden. We should just give him a watery grave like bin Laden. Just tie weights to his ankles and throw him overboard. I don't care who the fuck does it. I don't care if the IDF does it. Hey, Netanyahu, if you can hear us, can you do us a solid? Netanyahu, if you're listening, you know what do you know what would get all of Gen Z white guys, right-wingers to support Israel again? You need to go Maduro on Hassan Piker and fucking throw him in the ocean. Give him a watery grave. You want us to support Israel? You want to make the case? Why should we ally with Israel? You know, that would be a start.
This motherfucker is, I mean, this is not surprising, I hope, to anybody really that's been paying attention. But he's out here dick-eating Israel with the hopes that Israel will fucking, assassinate me. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But there are people out there that when they get to a certain place, when they get to a certain place in their commentary, in their ideology, they're so one note. They're just so locked and loaded on singularly hating your boy. And it makes no damn sense. So much so that they will cast aside their previous enmity that they've spent years and years developing. This man has been banned from every fucking platform. Okay? This man's been banned from every goddamn platform for being a Jew hater. He is. He's just a straight up anti-Semite. He is trying to get me to also become an anti-Semite, and failing, of course. In that first conversation that we had, when he first replied to me, he's like, just say Jew, just say Jew. This is about Jews, right? And when he gets a little bit of pushback, and when he has no counter positions whatsoever, when he can't because when you have a conversation with someone like myself, when you have a conversation with an anti-Zionist, an anti-fascist, if you yourself are a fascist and you're anti-Semitic, and you want to bring the conversation back to spiritual, ideological basis, and there is obviously the ideological side of this argument as well. There's the Israeli lobby side of the conversation. That's fine, right? That's valid. That's valid to discuss. I discuss it all the time. I'm stuck between the Mearsheimer, Chomsky approach, even though, only one of those guys hasn't been on the Epstein Lolita Express. Let's be real. But I think both the prominence and the influence peddling operation that is a multi-billion-dollar endeavor of the Israeli lobby, most commonly known as AIPAC, but there's so many other groups there, that plays a significant role in American politics, a very significant role. I talk about that all the time. But also the very notion that Israel is the bulwark of American empire in a fucking resource-rich region, an unsinkable aircraft carrier with its own espionage capabilities, that plays a pretty fucking significant role in this equation. And these guys can't have that conversation because they have to take it back to this monolithic Jewry. They have to consistently say, this is about a global organized effort around Jews. I personally think that's pussy shit. Sorry for using such gendered language here, but I personally think that's cowardly. It's cowardly. It's unproductive. It has nothing to do with addressing the actual problem. And the reason why is because just as the Holy Crusades had naught to do with defending Christianity at all, but was for pure plunder purposes, but Christianity was the galvanizing principle there, a way to justify it. The same principle holds for Zionism and its ties to Judaism. Are there a lot of Jews who are Zionist? Of course. But if Jews were monolithic, then Israel would not spend multiple billions of fucking dollars to make sure that every Western Jew, as soon as they're born, is locked into Zionism to the best of their ability and still fail to do so. Because there are plenty of young Jews, especially in the United States of America, many of them are in my community as well, that are anti-Zionist. They are some of our most valuable comrades. People who are anti-fascist, people who carry on the tradition of the Bolsheviks, people who carry on the revolutionary spirit that Jews historically have championed. At the end of the day, if there was this monolithic Jewry, then Israel and pro-Israeli investors would not actively try to propagandize Israel from such an early age to try to make every American and every Western Jew be super pro-Israel their whole lives. And they still fail to do so regardless. Okay? There is no group that is monolithic. This is tribalistic attitudes. This is stupid. This is just pure projection. It just reveals your position that dictates your position, your speculation, your belief system that says, no, all white guys think the same. All white guys are the same. We need to organize around whiteness. We need to organize around being Jewish. That's it. I don't work like that. I don't operate like that. And I don't think human beings operate like that. But when these guys run into someone
Hasan,
who is an anti-fascist, their arguments fall apart. Because as I've said before, I've been an anti-Zionist. I've been loudly and proudly anti-Israel far before Nick Fuentes was even in the sphere of political commentary. When Nick Fuentes was trying to have sex with his roommate in college and then getting very upset that allegedly his roommate in college had a girlfriend, I was out there saying, fuck Israel. When he was watching Mark Levin videos and getting radicalized into believing that there is some sort of great replacement that he later tied back to, Jewish trickery or whatever he fucking tied it back to. I was out there still saying Israel's an apartheid state because it was. Israel didn't become an apartheid state after October 7. You found out about it after October 7. Maybe not Nick, but many of you found out about it after October 7, after Israel's genocide. So that's why I laugh whenever these guys try to substitute consistent anti-Zionism and maintaining an anti-fascist and anti-imperialist principle, taking a principled stance against Israel because Zionism is a fascist ideology, Zionism is a racist ideology, and they try to turn it into anti-Semitism. Okay? No matter how much the ADL comes after me, and they certainly spend a good deal of time and effort, no matter how many articles are written about me in the Jewish Insider, I'm not going to cast aside my principles on this. No matter how many people say, oh, Hasan, you're doing Jewish exceptionalism. No, I'm not. I'm simply consistent. Anti-Semitism is a bigotry. And bigotry is, in the simplest terms, very stupid. It's just the wrong way of thinking. It's unproductive. It's idiotic. And it causes people to focus on the wrong things. It dilutes your attention. It dilutes your interests. And it causes you to be unprincipled. I don't do that. And at worst, obviously, anti-Semitism is dehumanizing rhetoric that has historically led to a whole great deal of atrocities in general. They're going to ban you from YouTube for this, my man. Why would they do that? What? For openly planting my flag once again on the issue of combating anti-Semitism while still being an anti-Zionist? Okay, I'll go somewhere else then. Fuck it, I'll go to Rumble. I'll figure it out. Conflating anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism is ironically what the likes of Nick Fuentes do, but it's also one that serves the purpose of Israel. Okay? That's why I say Nick Fuentes is basically an agent of Israel in many respects. Because as long as he is the one carrying the torch of anti-Zionism, and he is not, you can so easily turn around and go, yeah, this guy hates Israel because he hates Jews. Because that is the real reason why he hates Israel. Fascists hate Israel and Zionism because of jealousy. Okay? They want to do Israel here. And that's precisely the reason why this really, really triggered something in Nick Fuentes, because it exposes that contradiction. As a fascist, as a Christian nationalist, Nick Fuentes wants to do what Israel is doing, but in America for the in-group. In Israel, that in-group is determined as Jewish, right? In America, he wants to do that for what he has declared are white Christians. Now, whether Nick Fuentes is actually a part of that in-group or not, well, only time will tell. But that is why anti-Semites hate Israel. Not because of the human toll, not because of the endless amounts of support that they get from the United States of America in order to purge the made-up boundaries of the state of Israel in pursuit of the Greater Israel Project, to kill untold amount of Palestinians, starting off with 750,000 Palestinians that were forcibly displaced in an act known as the Nakba from 1947 onward. They don't hate Israel because Israel is a fascist state, a ethno-religious supremacist state that is ethnically cleansing non-Jews in the region, the indigenous population in the region. They hate Israel because they don't get to do it. Okay? They hate Israel because they want to be able to do the same thing here in the United States of America. It's pure jealousy. So once again, you got to say it. Fuck ICE. Fuck fascists. Fuck Trump. And fuck Israel. You know how we were talking about how, there's a lot of groypers that have been like fucking complaining? I can't believe it. Unbelievable. Hen Mazik, he's supposed to be Mr. Combating Anti-Semitism. Hasan will swear up and down that he's an empathetic liberal. But when it's time for insults, he brings out gay, Mexican, and manlet, as if there's any scarcity of insults for Nick Fuentes. Brother, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you this much? Are you this much of a fucking dick rider of fascism that you're gonna loop back around and defend anti-Semitic fascism too? Unbelievable. Unfucking believable, dude. Yeah, the liberal part is ridiculous. I'm not a liberal, but it doesn't matter. Like, he's fucking tone policing, refusing to comprehend what I'm saying. Like, this guy straight up is, once again, another Israel first moron, okay? And when you're Israel first, you have no understanding of anything else. You're like, oh, this is my op. I hate him. I'm going to be contrarian no matter what. It's the same talking point Ethan Decline was making. Like, do they not understand that there's no issue with being gay or Mexican? There's an issue with being a white nationalist, white supremacist. And it's additionally funny when you're a white nationalist, white supremacist, supposedly tradcath guy who happens to be gay and Mexican. And no one actually believes this shit either. Like when people go, "Oh my God, Hasan, I can't believe you're homophobic. You're being homophobic to Nicholas Fuentes, the gay Mexican neo-Nazi." Okay? Like who in your liberal audience is going to defend fucking Nicholas Fuentes? You know what I mean? Who's this for? 2 threads on LSF, one with Loserbox calling you for to kirk yourself, and then Nick Fuentes calling for BB to do the same to you. Both threads are full of the usual suspects cheering it. So LSF is both siding with Lonerbox, who is crying and demanding I kill myself, and then also siding with Nick Fuentes. At this point, you have to realize, like, these guys are just straight up. I mean, it's not even that poppin', let's be real, but like, XU says it's impressive that this is what finally got banned Hasan after all the crazy shit he said before. Hasan doubles down on his statement that got him banned on Twitch. Yeah. To clarify, using the term Zionist isn't bannable. It's using the term in a derogatory, slur manner, like calling someone a Zionist animal, specifically that violates the... Yeah. Something tells me MAGA pigs is not bannable. I wonder why being Zionist is a protected political position. I find it actually hilarious. Neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes openly talk about how Zionist is just a dog whistle for Jews, a funny joke, but leftists ardently defend using it as a slur. Yeah, I wonder why. Why would you ever take neo-Nazis at their fucking word? They also say Jew, dumbass. What neo-Nazi hides that they hate Jews? They openly say it. They say it all the fucking time, especially at a time like this, when on the one hand, a lot of these people come to the recognition that like anti-Semitism, there's a massive market for it. Okay. This is something that I talk about quite a bit. Why would anybody fucking shelter their perspective if they were going to be anti-Semitic? And especially neo-Nazis, they're never going to fucking hide their actual opinion. They say it all the time. You think Nick Fuentes hides that he's a Holocaust denier? No, he flexes that shit. It's so funny that these guys are like, they still maintain this position that like I'm secretly an anti-Semite, but I'm finding this weird route around it. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. It's all destiny, sex pestiny, loner box. Excuse is impressive that this is what finally got Hasan banned. LSF is on a fucking island of his own, totally living in an alternative reality, okay? Lemon, y'all really come to a new platform to hate on Hasan? It's just so, it's so sus. It's so fucking clearly botted, and it's so goddamn sus. How much time and effort and money that these motherfuckers spend to create this like environment, create this environment on the internet where like, oh, everybody actually hates you. And then we go outside, and what is the diff? When we go outside, chat, you see what it's actually like, right? We go outside and it's all love. Bro, when you sniffle into the mic like that, I have to leave. Holy shit. Wait, what? Dude, oh my God, we have fucking audio. We have audio perverts in this chat too. It's just pretty funny that like these guys will post
Turkish
shit
person,
like
by the
this.
way.
These guys will post shit like this on here. You know? And circle jerk in their fucking hatred with the hopes that they could possibly garner some kind of enmity. And when it fucking falls spectacularly on its face, they still maintain the facade. They maintain the facade by refusing to broach the other side, refusing to entertain reality. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely thought that the YouTube stream today wouldn't be as poppin' as it was. I've never thought that it would be like this at all. I mean, my expectation is that this would be like a 10K stream, and I would have been very happy to have been able to show Ray Huang and show the protest to my audience, right? And I never thought that there would be this much support for me streaming on YouTube. So like, once again, you know, shouts out to my haters. You really pushed it. And what is this? Generational Cope. Dan Solomon claims to be the mastermind behind Hasan Piker's YouTube streaming debut, hitting 140K live concurrent viewers as a plot to get him to drop Twitch for YouTube. Do you believe him, or is he coping? Now that Hasan is banned from Twitch, the Destiny debate collab is going to happen, right? All according to plan, Padavon. 65,000 of those viewers are me. This is good for Bitcoin. He's going to leave Twitch for YouTube. The goal has to be to keep him on YouTube. That's a major W. I don't know what you guys are coping about. There's already 100 other anti-Semites on YouTube. Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Dan's like, oh, I botted his stream. The level of fucking cope. the level of fucking cope that we're on. I mean, if he botted my stream, you know, I feel like that's a terms of service violation for him. Because there was a point where we shot up from 60K to like 140K. But, you know, it's been fairly consistent otherwise and the concurrent viewership front with like a bunch of peaks every now and then. And like I said, I would have been happy with like 10,000 viewers. Yeah, that's the other meme all over. LSF Hasan stream is botted now. Yeah. I never thought that there would be this many people that were like super on board. Because remember, first of all, you can't bot the fucking the memberships that came out of nowhere, and you can't bot the fucking super chats. Like, I have YouTube. I hope you guys understand. I'm a relatively large content creator, so of course, like, as a big live streamer, YouTube was aware of me live streaming on the platform, and they were paying close attention to the stream today. So if there's any inconsistencies, I'll talk to them on the back end, try to figure out exactly what happened. But they are in awe of the initial numbers, especially considering that this came out of nowhere. Like, it's not, I wasn't going to stream until March convinced me. I wasn't going to live stream on YouTube until March convinced me. I was just going to do a regular, like, you know, here's why I got banned video that probably would have gotten like 1.5 million views. Right. And then that would have been it. And then I would have done like a live, not an IRL, but a live vlog. And March unironically convinced me because of Austinox. He turned around and was like, we're not getting that video out in a timely manner. Where's the Ireland vlog? That's what he said. So shouts out to Austinox for taking his sweet ass fucking time with the editing. And shouts out to March for pushing me. And we did get like 100,000 plus new subscribers on the YouTube page too, I think. Something crazy like that. We went from 1.7 to 1.81, so I don't know where we maybe we were 1.79, but so I don't know. I'm really reconsidering. Kyle Kalinske was also one of the people who was like, bro, you should be streaming on YouTube. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know? You not being able to do chat, watch, might have added 10 years to your life, bro. YouTube streaming might have saved your life. I mean, I'm still doing chat watch. Obviously, because of the latency and the delay for chat, I don't get to see everything in real time, you know? But I will reconsider doing dual streams on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, maybe. You know? God damn. This is pretty funny. Yeah, shout out DGG. Destiny, I will have more concurrent viewership than Hasan by 2025, he said, in 2024, when my audience had fucking left me behind because of the Israel stuff. When a big chunk of my audience left.